Hola mi gente, soy Alondra la OT, and today I'm with very special guest Carolyn Johnson of Postpartum Living, and today we're going to be talking about postpartum recovery, so stay tuned. Before we get into the interview, it's time for 3 en 30. So 3 questions, 30 seconds. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. First question. Favorite leisure activity to do with kids?
Oh, anything outdoors.
Favorite lullaby? Baby lullaby?
Oh, mine's it's like a Justin Bieber song. A good lullaby.
Okay, and then favorite leisure activity without kids?
Dancing.
16 seconds. Ooh. So before we get into talking about postpartum health and recovery, let's get to know a little bit more about Carolyn. So tell us a little bit about how you discovered occupational therapy, what led you to occupational therapy?
So I started off wanting to be a developmental psychologist.
Okay, that's different.
Yes. And then it's actually my father that told me to be an OT because his colleague's daughter was an OT.
Oh, okay.
And come to find out 6 years later after paying for school, he didn't actually know what an OT was.
Oh.
But he thought it was a good idea. So thank you, Dad. But I realized soon as I got into the program that I really enjoyed the idea of working in a medical setting, but also being a very nurturing profession and helping people get better, become independent, and just enhancing their quality of life, which is exactly what I've always wanted to do.
So where did you go to school at?
So I went to Boston University for my bachelor's and master's program. I did my fieldwork in orthopedics in Boston, and then I did another fieldwork in pediatrics at Connecticut Children's Medical Center.
Okay. So now, when you graduated, did you go into orthopedics or pediatrics?
So neither. So I became a travel therapist. I came down to DC right after I passed my boards, literally like a week later. I flew down, I started being a travel therapist at a long-term care facility.
Okay.
Skilled nursing, a subacute rehab. Mm-hmm. So I did a little bit of orthopedics, but a lot of it was the very typical like aging population, right. Working with chronically ill, with those who've had surgeries, so that type of thing.
Aging population, postpartum recovery.
How did we get there?
How did that happen?
Yeah, so I've been working at a lot of different acute care facilities in the hospital, and I realized I wanted to do a little bit more and find my passion of what I really wanted to do. So at the time I was a mom of 2, 2 under the age of 3, and then I was pregnant, 7 months pregnant with my 3rd one, and decided that I wanted to work with prenatal and postpartum moms because there's a big gap in healthcare services for that population, and OTs are the perfect profession, or OT practitioners, to work with moms who are recovering from delivering a baby, who want to get back to being independent, who want to navigate this new stage of motherhood, but need the support to be able to do that.
Right. Did you know of any OTs doing this? Because it's not what we would consider a traditional occupational therapy setting. So did you know of anyone else doing something like this, or?
No, and I Googled postpartum occupational therapist, DC, which is, we live in the DC area, and I couldn't find anything. So it was, I was like, well, it doesn't exist. Should I make it exist?
Yeah. And
I did find some other OTs around the nation, actually one's in, not even the nation, she's in Canada.
Okay.
And
outside the country.
Outside the country. And there's a few here and there that actually are starting to work in specializing in women's health, and then further specializing in postpartum recovery, even pelvic floor therapy, which a lot of times it's a PT.
It's a PT, yeah.
So that's where I decided that I could really insert myself and be of service to this specific community.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the role that you play as an occupational therapist providing postpartum recovery. What exactly do you do? What exactly do you offer?
So the beauty of being an occupational therapist is that we are a holistic rehab professional. So we can look at physical deficits, emotional, mental, psychosocial, We can look at the family dynamic. We can look at roles of being a mother and being a wife or a partner. And so, bottom line, I look at the person, the mother, as a fully functioning human being. They don't have to have a disability. They don't have to have anything quote unquote wrong with them.
Right.
But just from transitioning to from being pregnant to not being pregnant, but having this new life to take care of. There's a lot of transition, there's a lot of adjusting, there's a lot of role changes, there's a lot of different responsibilities, and that's what OTs do. Right. Think about when someone has a knee surgery or is recovering from having a stroke. The basics of what we do is to help them become independent, help them recover from whatever they went through, so that they can enhance their quality of life, they can be the person that they want to be. And so for being a mom, you want to be there for your child, you want to be a good partner, you want to make sure that you're mentally and emotionally at a level that is acceptable to you, and kind of navigating all the things that happen after you deliver a baby. And the things that moms are up at night, 2 a.m., nursing, Googling, is it normal for me to feel X, Y, and Z? How does a C-section scar, how is it supposed to heal? How do I get out of bed after having a baby? Things that they don't really talk about in labor and delivery courses, in newborn care courses. And so I even teach a postpartum class in DC for moms to know what to expect after they're expecting.
Ooh. Is that a book title?
It could be.
I'm like,
it could be.
There
are a lot of books that are written by other professionals, not OT practitioners. They're midwives, doulas, that talk about what to expect, but it would be something unique for an OT to talk about it from a rehab perspective.
That's amazing. And I know. Go for it. Thinking about my experiences with my 2 children, the only reason why I knew what to expect with my second one is because of what happened with my first. And even with my second, there were still things that didn't happen with my first. And so it was just, the first was definitely a whirlwind. And I think for a lot of mothers, especially first-time moms, this is a very important area.
I think we do a huge disservice to new moms to only talk about the baby and to only talk about pregnancy and to kind of completely neglect the whole area of them in their bodies, in their minds, transitioning from 9 months, 10 months pregnancy to being postpartum, and how are you supposed to recover while also taking care of a newborn. And we've been having babies for how many years, and it's still a taboo. It's still something that moms say, oh, they never told me that, but and that should never. That's the main reason why I started Postpartum Living. So I fused home health to my private practice, because in reality, no mom wants to be going out to a clinic, taking their newborn with them so that they can work on themselves. That's automatically going to make them cross it off the list and say, I'll just deal with it. So by going into their homes, it's a comfortable zone for them. They can take care of their baby. I've seen moms while they're breastfeeding, and we're still talking about the things that we need to talk about. But also that they're a lot more forthcoming with how they actually feel when they're not in a sterile clinic environment. They can relax, they can say, I'm feeling a little sad about this, I've been struggling with this. And that way they are a lot more comfortable. And they're a bigger advocate for their own health and recovery when they feel that they're comfortable in the place that they are.
And it's one of the things that we kind of talk about as OTs is, if we can, always try to see our patients in the least restrictive environment. And if you're seeing them at their home, how more,
I tell them, don't clean the house before I come.
Just leave it.
Don't worry about where the stuff, the baby stuff is. I'm like, this is your elements. This is what we work with, and that's okay. Don't try to be perfect for me to come.
So in talking about advocacy efforts and women health becoming an emerging area of practice in general, I feel like that is getting more recognition. I know that you said in May 2019 you attended the Mom Congress. Can you tell a little bit about that?
Sure. So every year for the past couple of years, moms, healthcare practitioners, they get together for Mom Congress on Capitol Hill, and we lobby for better legislation that supports moms. So whether that's paid family leave, talking about how we're supporting moms in the healthcare field after they deliver, since so many moms develop complications and they feel like they don't have any support from either the hospitals, from the practitioners, from their government officials, so that they're able to recover, tend to their families, but also to keep a job and to make sure that they're still supported by society. So it was really great to be part of that, to talk about the new bills that are coming into to Congress that are being presented, to talk to legislative officials about these and how we can better support moms, and so they don't feel like they are the population that is being forgotten about, and they deserve just as much attention as all the other medical conditions that we support.
So before we wrap up this interview, I wanted to ask you, do you have any final advice for aspiring OT practitioners or current OT practitioners?
Sure. My biggest piece of advice is to not keep yourself in a box. Don't limit yourself to what you've learned in school as a practitioner that only works in a clinic or certain settings or certain populations. That's the beauty of our field and our profession, is that we're so flexible. And I never thought of myself as becoming an entrepreneur at all. But knowing that there was a need in the community and I have a very specific skill set as an OT practitioner, fusing those two make a business idea. So don't ever feel like you can't be someone who runs a business, who runs a practice, because I'm doing it. I've just started it, so I'm still learning. But it's follow your passion. You got into OT to help people, but if you're helping people in not the capacity that you want to be, then find an avenue that can get you there and blaze your own trail. If it doesn't exist, make it exist. And that way we can always evolve as a field. And also you can always advocate for our profession, for why OTs are just so amazing.
Because we are.
I will say though, for new practitioners, you should always try to experience as many different settings and populations. I was in long-term care, subacute care, home health, acute care, working in the ICU. Now I teach an OTA program. I'm working in pediatrics, and I'm doing the private practice for postpartum moms. So you want to get as much experience in different places so that you can really figure out where you fit and where your passion is. Because you won't really discover it if you only stay with one set thing.
And then also all those experiences combined come together, because I'm pretty sure your job in home health, your job here all comes together in your current area of practice.
I pieced it all together. I said, we'll take this, we'll take mental health, we'll take some phys diz, we'll take some peds to work with newborns, and we'll put it all together, and that's how I made the business model.
So it all comes together. Don't be afraid to try different things. Don't feel obligated to stay stuck in the box.
Exactly.
All right, so before we go, it's time for the palabra del día, and the word is going to be postpartum, which in Spanish is postparto. So why do you think it's important to know postpartum?
A lot of people associate the word postpartum with only the mental health aspect of postpartum depression and anxiety, but postpartum is actually the period after you deliver a baby. So you can be years down the road and you're still postpartum. So it's very important to bring awareness that it is not just talking about the mental health aspect, but holistically, postpartum is a stage that every mom goes through.
All right, so postparto. Okay, your turn.
All right, postpartum.
See? All right, everybody. Till next time. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
I mean, think about it. Without moms, no one would exist.
Exactly.
Oh, fist bump. I was supposed to go. And instead I was like. All right. So before we get into the interview, it's time for 3 en 30. So 3 questions, 30 seconds.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I always get silly when I do this. Okay. Tell me.
That was perfect.